So the guys came out of the woodwork. There's lots of work to be done. The reporting standards coming out of our ears. We needed to address all sorts of aspects. So the guys under the, can I call it the Brundtland lens, looking at the organization's impact on the economy, the environment more, and society, rather from that perspective, as well as the SASB, the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, looking at it from very much the other lens as those factors impacting on the organization. We've got the integrated reporting, looking at bringing the integrated thinking across the various resources together. We've got the Climate Disclosure Project, we've got the CDSB, we've got the Task Force for Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, and then we've got the big boys, the Financial Accounting Standards Body in board in the US, and the IFRS, the International Financial Reporting Standards, and the IASB, the International Accounting Standards Board, really the rest of the world. So all of these guys were grappling with this idea of reporting on financial and these sustainability or non-financial factors, to the point where Prof King in March 2019 called it a social outrage, that all of these people were essentially fishing from the same pond, he said, making money out of the same thing and causing clutter and confusion in the market. From that point, what we see is a whole lot of activity happening. In the very recent years, in August, of course, we had the World Economic Forum creating the International Business Council. In Davos in January 2020, they launched a paper with the common metrics and consistent reporting of sustainable value creation. We had the World Business Council for Sustainable Development in October, calling to simplify this corporate reporting. We had the EU in January 2020 in their review of their non-financial reporting directive. We had, the whole world was involved. The Sustainability Development Goals disclosure recommendations, with including Paul Druckmann. We have the IOSCO, the international organization for essentially the stock exchanges of the world, teaming up with the Sustainable Finance Network and publishing a report in this regard. Then in May 2020, and this is what Professor Garrett was talking about, please join us and have a look at the videos. At Good Governance Academy, we had a colloquium on integrated reporting, which really was trying to emphasize to all of these people, please come together. And now Prof King brings together international experts from these various areas to talk on these matters. So trying to get dialogue happening between these organizations. Following on from that colloquium, we had in September 2020, the Impact Management Project talking about the launch of the group of five, or the alphabet soup, and their statement of intent. So the GRIs I spoke about earlier, SASB, obviously from the other side, CDP, IIRC, and CDSB, all working together saying we want to collaborate in this very important initiative. IFAC then as well said that, had a global call. So the International Federation of Accountants said, we want this talk about an International Sustainability Standards Board that was coming out of the IFRS. We want that to be aligned and created, aligned with the International Accounting Standards Board under the IFRS. So they were really pushing for this International Sustainability Standards Board that we spoke about in the May colloquium. In September 2020, IFRS did issue a consultation paper to assess the demand for such an International Sustainability Standards Board. The TCFD then issued a forward-looking financial sector in October 2020, and November of that year, we had our colloquium on the importance of ESG, where we brought together again these players together with the ACCA, the large accounting body, and various other, Paul Druckmann as well. So these are various parties talking together, and that discussion is available online. So there's lots of work. And what has happened this year? So we're exhausted from last year, and we had the pandemic. So what has happened this year in this demand for beyond the annual financial statements? So in January, we had the International Integrated Reporting Framework launch a revision. So we've got various factors coming through. They had a review. We launched the revision in January. In April, we had the EU then revising and sending out the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, their proposal. In June, the Value Reporting Foundation was formally established. It had been established from November in 2020. And now this was the formal establishment of the union of SASB and the IIRC towards the collaboration of the Group of Five. In June, we also had the IFRS Foundation, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, issue their management commentary, which is really, if people who know the annual financial reporting standards on the IASB, the IFRS standards, they'll know that one of the statements is this first statement on the management commentary, and I'll talk a little bit about that. In October, the SEC will be launching a climate-related financial disclosure framework, and they are already chasing organizations and companies, listed companies, in terms of disclosure on financial sustainability matters. In November, we've got COP26, and in November, we've also got the next colloquium on corporate reporting immediately following COP26. So we should have very good information coming through there. Just to stop on that management commentary. So up until now, we've seen really the board is responsible for signing off on these organizational reports, bringing together the annual financial statements or the financial reporting together with the sustainability reporting. And up until now, the only mechanism really in effect has been the integrated report to try and bring this together. And that integrated report really has been the board being able to put, or the governing body being able to put this information together about the organization and how it creates value for its stakeholders.